gentleman you're speaking about, we're going to move on because you know we are time constrained there. And that gentleman, I hope that is Godwin Allen,
Yes.
aka Smuggy. He was a policeman, you know.
Yes.
He used to be a police officer. Yes, and I really believe that the Trinidad and Tobago, I call on Gary Griffith before, Mr. Griffith, to address that young man. The police, they fell off the track. They left him to be destroyed.
Yes.
And I believe the police service should have paid attention more to Godwin Allen from Roxborough. He's one of them. He was one of them. He trained to use a gun. He trained as a police officer. He trained to disarm people. He's a strong man and he's mentally still aware. The minute he hears my voice, he will walk down to Argyle. And when I come to Tobago, he will naturally go, oh, that Cora out there? Cora, look your boy. Cora, look your boy. Your boy hungry, Cora. And then Kenneth go say, my brother used to say, girl, you not forget you a tall girl. So here we have Willon want to say something. Jahmela still want to say something.
What I want to say is that in Trinidad and Tobago, but when I look at Trinidad, because being in Trinidad for long, men in Trinidad do not know how to take rejection and leave women alone. That's the biggest scar in the mindset of men in Trinidad and Tobago. A woman will pass and you and try to disrespect her and she said, leave me alone. You believe you have to verbalize her, abuse her verbally, or try to hold her hand or touch her or say a negative thing about her and call her all the kind of N-word or B-word or whatever. That's rejection. They don't know this and that goes in their mind, and they believe because they see maybe the uncle do that or some elder person in the community do that, they could do it too. And even the little children that's growing up, the boys are growing up disrespecting because they get rejection too. So we need to deal with that also too. We need also to, as Avanell saying, dealing with looking at the homeless people who sometimes they have been professional and they don't turn to violent because they just one day wake up and turn to violent. But looking at the history and how to deal with that and what the government are doing to put programs in place to solve that situation. And we are calling the government of Trinidad and Tobago, enough is enough. We need change. The higher authority. And we as a community have to come together and make it happen.
Well, Nickocy, they're waiting to say something. Jahmela waiting to say something concerning that same thing. So let's hear what
I'm going to be very fast. I'm going to be very fast. One point well taken by, I can't remember her name.
Avanell.
But the Avanell Police Service, right? Good. Now, the police service has a gender-based violence. First thing first, do they know the definition of gender? Do they know the different stereotypes of gender? What types of genders are there in Trinidad and Tobago? That's the first thing. You cannot have a gender-based violence unit when you're only focused on women and not the abuse of men. When men go to make a report, you're laughing. Notwithstanding that, we are focusing too much on negatively talking about the men. The men also have issues, and men are mostly like superheroes. They have to continue being macho. And men have problems. Men do not show emotions. So some women tend to feed off it. Up to last night, I saw a video where this woman tied up a man. And she keep on slapping him in the face.
Slapping him in the face and telling him of his out and the money. And
you have to look at
people love it.
Women do to men as well. We cannot be one-sided. Yes, attack against women is very out of the way. It's off. But at the end of the day, we have to look at the things that women do to men and say to men to trigger those emotions. The next thing is we talk about the police unit, the gender unit. They need a whole evaluation by themselves. I heard somebody talk about the government reformation of the taxi association. Reformation of the taxi association is one thing, but you remember it's not the taxi association killing the people or killing the women. Is the individual themselves. Yes. And persons have to look at individualism and how those persons treat. There must be mechanisms in place for the taxi to operate and how people can trust their taxi drivers, right? That is one. The police service, the taxi association, the government assistance. Now, there may be programs in place, but we have to understand is who the programs are reaching to, what level of persons the programs the government put in place. And if you have a program and you do not have a monthly or a 3 months to bring up to date the public of Trinidad and Tobago to say, okay, good. We have this women's action group committee that we put in place by through the government. And this is what happened. We have 1,000 women. We have this woman from you're not updating people with the project. So they're just launching initiatives. The Pink Room Initiative. We have this initiative. And nothing happens because there's not a follow-up. It's only when there's a violence against a woman or a man or somebody, we come out with some program. It starts up hot and sweaty. We see people cutting ribbon, and that's it. So there's a number of other things we need to check on. All I would like to say is just that we must not, I do not want to let us continue with the narrative that we're stressing on men being negative towards women and men are not being treated the same way. That's all I have to say.
Point well taken. Well said. Well said. This gender bias thing and this trying to say that women alone. No, I watched that video and I wasn't going to watch it, but I asked myself, it didn't look real to me. But then I seemed like, because I know acting, you see, the mistake that I made was to go on movie sets with my son. So right now I don't trust people because everything looked like a damn movie to me. Everything looked like an act. Everything looked like a show. Why do people want to make sure that they get popular and they get notoriety with their political imbalanced life that they live in by going out there and talking about the issues today? The real problem, they're not handling it. Because the real problem is still there to be touched.
Of course.
Our president, she's not speaking out. Now we're hearing that she doesn't have any power. We want our laws to change so that men will know 2 strikes and you're out, 1 strike and you're gone, according to according to the quality of crime that you commit against a woman. You ain't having no second chance. So we have Avanell again coming in with something quick.
Yes, and just to kind of point back towards those offenses and the judicial system, we have women, and see, this is the thing, we have to kind of work on a community-based level. We have women that would go in and they'll make the reports. And then we don't have, even though we have safe houses for them, these safe houses aren't protected in such a way that these men can't necessarily find them. And 2, we're not giving these women the empowered, support to let them know that, all right, even though you've already left, you don't have to go back. You can stand on your own 2 feet. Trinidad and Tobago is such a small place.
And it's so rich. They could help the women more.
And when you find yourself into a position where you made a report against a man, you might file, a restraining order. Why is it that one restraining order and then they offend, they go back and they offend again, and then they break the orders? Why are they being let go? I feel like when a person goes beyond that boundary, it's time for them to stay in jail. It should be an unbailable offense. It should absolutely be an unbailable offense, because when you let them go, the only thing they're coming back to do is, if I can't get you, no one else can. And all you want to do at that point is to kill you.
Well said. That's it. That's the idea. That's what I'm talking about. And we already seen it happen all over Trinidad and Tobago. And some of the women, we have to talk to our women. Okay, Jahmela, I know you want to say something, Ivan, but we have to give Jahmela this chance, because what's going on here now, we are getting to the point where we're looking for a solution. We're not always here with the problem. Everybody know the problem. We want to know what you think should be done. Go, Jahmela.
In addition to what Avanell said, Malcolm and Morris, who murdered Andrea Barrett, they had a trail a paper trail of violence.
Criminality, yes.
Yes. Malcolm had 70 charges against him, 49 open cases.
Oh.
He is a known serial rapist. Yet still, he gets away to keep on committing these hideous crimes. Now, Trinidad and Tobago law enforcement unit only have 8,000 police officers. Trinidad has 1 point something million people. The women who suffer in Trinidad and Tobago, the police cannot solve these problems. They don't have the tools to handle these cases. That's why these perpetrators repeat the crime over and over again. A victim
so you are saying that justice delayed and justice denied caused Andrea's death?
Yes, because these perpetrators are out there. They're lurking for another victim. So therefore, like Avi said, when they commit these offenses repetitively, you have to put them in jail and throw away the key. Take them off the street. But again, I'm going to reiterate myself, Trinidad and Tobago is not equipped to handle these cases. And it's sad. It's sad. That's why we have to keep doing what we're doing today. We cannot let this stop here today, because what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago is very serious. Last year in 2020, 46 women was murdered due to domestic violence. That's a lot of women. 30 citizens out of 100,000 people in Trinidad and Tobago are murdered. Out of 100,000 people. That means at the end of the year, either 420 citizens are murdered by some type of violence, or 500 and change. That's too many people dying at the hands of violence. It have to stop. We the citizens are responsible for standing up. I was so happy to see that Trinidadians and Tobagonians
Came
out in drove, and they stood for justice. Not only for Andrea. When you stand up, you showing that you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. So you got.
Yes, finish up there.
So we have to keep these march up. We have to let our voices and our presence be known and be seen. I am happy that Willon went out there and he started the campaign against violence against women. He was one of the first person who went out there and start pushing. And then it came into reality. He went out there and he was brave. He risked his life, because when people like him, all of you go out there in the public and you stand up to fight for justice or for changes, we are risking our lives.
Thank you. Well, Jahmela, you just gave your closing statement there. Did you? Well said, well done. Well done. We have to stand up. We have to go out there, not only to march, but we have to demand constitutional reform that will support the life of women. We just don't want to make laws and change laws because we can. We have to make effective laws work, put it into play. We just can't have them having it there and voting, and next thing you know, because no one and get killing. There was a brutal murder in Tobago where a husband hammered use a hammer and kill his young wife. That was one of the most in front of children that she was going to teach. There was a husband that ran up on his wife's job and he chopped her to death in Tobago. And all the laborers and them, because the people who there with a selfie, some run and nobody and hit the man with a big stone.
And
Then receive a big stone. So let me hear what Willon Ivan Nurse have to say.
Well,
Willon,
I'm bringing a point. I'm bringing a point because
this point is 2 minutes for you. Let's
okay. I'm bringing a point because Jahmela will remember this, and we didn't call we didn't call it the name of this radio station. And music, I'm talking about music. A lot of lyrics from music are so violent that it causes a lot of destruction to the youth, men and them that are carrying. For example, Jahmela and I, we are listening to this song called "If You Beat a Woman, If You See a Man Beating a Woman, INC. If you see a man chop up a woman, INC." These lyrics are stuff, and we write into the stuff and say, "Hey, no, I see. I will report that. We have to be." And even the DJ was saying, "Well, I ain't see her. I ain't see Rocket. I ain't see. I can't say that." But what are we promoting? The lyrics of music. They're actually musicians, artists, calypsonians, soca artists. Be careful what you write and what you're going to record for your music, because it will have effect of violence against women and abuse children. We can't afford those things, certain kind of standard. And in Trinidad and Tobago, our lyrical for soca and calypso have gone dirty over the years. And artists are just wanting to eat a food because they're going some kind of crazy stuff to disrespect women. And I think our women, they are gyrated to that, and they behave in a pattern. We have to educate tell our young ladies, "Hey, no, this song is disrespecting you. Turn it down. Take it off. Don't listen to that." Music have effect on violence against violence for women also. I'm like, to stop promoting these music. And when they tell our the radio station, we're not gonna play that type of music.
Point well taken. Point well taken, Willon Ivan Nurse. So, ladies, we are up to an hour. We're not going to take any break. We are going to move right back now into Anne-Marie Arthur. She's saying something here, Willon Ivan Nurse. If you can see to read it.
One of the biggest problems, everybody has some sort of connection. They know someone in high places, and he has so many cases and was outside living among the citizen, and the judicial system has failed the women of Trinidad and Tobago, period.
What do you say about that, Willon?
Yes, that is true. That is true. They have failed the women miserably.
That is why
and because
we
you know
need
somebody in high place, and because you know somebody in high places, or you have a big lawyer friend, or you have a big police partner, you could put.
What on earth this guy? Who this guy can know in big places that will have him out there with 70-something violations against women and against human beings? That means that young man was doing work for whoever in the high places.
Well,
maybe he does dirty jobs. Let me hear you, Nickocy. 2 minutes.
For me, I won't. Now I'm a political leader. I'm not a political leader, so I have to be very careful of certain things that I say. Now, in regards to the Andrea Barrett murder, there are so many different things that came out of it. We're hearing that the court system, she saw something in the court and that was corrupted. So I cannot respond to it, and I'm not going to give a response. All I'm going to say is that a proper investigation and a thorough investigation.
That is the reason why I never approach the matter. I believe that what we do in Trinidad and Tobago, and maybe around the world also, that they rush to judgment without investigation.
Nice. So in regards,
you're out there marching, but you don't know the reason why she died.
Nice. So
you're out there making, while giving you a chance, you're out there making a case without evidence for the case that you're out there fighting. Now, you march, everybody marching, everybody out there talking loud, but now you're hearing that she saw something and this is a hit and this is a mace, and this is a plug, and they use a slug. But according to you right now, I cannot speak yet.
Yes.
The case need to be what? Investigated.
Right. Right. And I heard somebody said we need political change. Changing a political party is not going to stop the violence against women or anybody. And what the people of Trinidad and Tobago needs to do is put proper representation and come away from the party politics. Put persons who you have seen in your community working, persons who have been actively involved in the development of change. But persons are not getting out of that mentality of the gimme attitude and what they can get from the political entities. Now, the police service, somebody also says that these police service are not to blame the judicial system, but you have to blame the police service because I can tell you for a fact that I have cases that I've reported to the police. I've got the receipt. I can tell you from since 2015 to now, less than that, up to now, one of the cases have never been called because
They take too long, denying.
They have not been called in none of it. So that's why I said to you, every time I go in, they take a report of thing, and you never see them. They never call you. So the police service is to be blamed at a point in time. The judicial system. You know, the thing about it is, it's all about your individuality. Look in the mirror. Our communities are it takes a community to raise a child, but it also takes a village to destroy a child. Because when I'm disciplining my child, you tell me, no, don't beat him, he's a man, leave him. But when he do something and commit a crime,
jail.
He's the mother. And in fact, no. Then again, the politics now. The politics again. They're playing with the lives of the people, and that is why I entered the realm of politics. We need somebody who's neutral, somebody who speaks to the voice of the people. And our governance is not listening to the voice of the people. In order for you to adapt change and to make change in a country, you must work with everybody. And that goes to the opposition too. They're playing the fool as well. I am not here to bash the government alone, but the opposition and every other political entity. We must have an input and we must come together. So the judicial system in a mess, the police service in a mess, the governance in a mess, the administrations in a mess, everybody in a mess. And what we need is solutions going forward. 2020 in this COVID is not for us to continue to go in the past. We haven't seen the storm yet. The storm and coming out of the storm is to rebuild the country going forward. And we haven't started that yet because there's too much friction. And all I can say is this Andrea Barrett issue, I will wait until the Commissioner of Police give his final closing on the matter in regards to the persons who were there. I hope I ask for international investigators because we have to be careful. 2 persons also died in the hand and the custody of the police service. So who are you going to charge? The chair that the person fall off of? You have, and I'm hearing the commissioner say that you don't need international, but why do you need international investigators for DSS? So we have to be careful of what we're saying, what is brought into the media. And for me, I am saying, according to what, I just find that everybody just have too much to say and not get into the problem, solving the issue and moving forward together. That's all I have to say.
There is a case that you think they should still try to solve in order to get to this girl case. This lady that they shoot up when she left that casino. How is that case going? That was an open case. She was murdered on the street. They ambushed her, Sita Hall.
Yes, they're not Sita Hall. Nothing. You're not hearing nothing. Nothing. And then you know what pisses me off? You getting them, those persons in government saying, oh, that murder has to be linked to government official, high government official, but why isn't nobody arrested? And that you cannot believe anything that they say. I am saying every time people call me, they call me in the media or respond to this, respond to that. I am not going to respond to that. If I do not have facts, without information, you cannot make decision. I am not going to speak on any issue unless I have sufficient facts. Justice delayed is justice denied, as that person said.
Yeah.
That is Dr. Duke behind there. She's saying that all the time. I said it before. They're taking too long to try cases.
Of course.
A young man in Tobago, that they pick him up on some murder charge. He's going on 10 years soon.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
You don't have the evidence then. Where will you find the evidence now?
Thank you. right? If a person is raped and at the age of 20 in 2000, you go into 2020 now when the person has married and moved on. You now coming to tell me to give a report or to give my care. No, come on, man. We need to work properly. We need a proper international forensic center. We need a proper judicial system that
Say it loud, say it now. Come on now.
community. We also need a facility that rehabilitates the woman and the household itself. The gender-based violence. We need a drug and rehabilitation program that actually sticks in this community. We need a youth-based initiative that
Hey, go on.
forward. And at the end of the day, the police system, we need a police service that just only goes for equipment to look good, but we need a police service that will work for the people and will have the necessary equipment, not only the judicial system, but the equipment, because we have to forget, we also forget that these police service men and women,
they are retiring, they're getting sick, they're dying, they're getting
you
senile.
have to deal with the people here and then have to go back to your own house, because we have some of the officers that are affected, because to see that you are working and your children at home having issues, you're dealing with other people's issues, you don't have the support from your own police service. Because, for example, it had one of them who he was by, but then his co-workers were bringing it on, and I was asked to speak to him.
Hold on, Willon.
At the end of the day, you cannot. If you don't have the support from your own police service, your own co-workers, this psychologically breaks you down. So therefore, the attitude that these police officers give to us, the citizen, it is because there is something wrong. They need to be psychologically reviewed a month after month. Check up on the police service. Make sure that they have it. There are some police officers that have special needs kids who don't have the assistance. And when they're going to social service, what they're telling you? Well, you're a police officer. You could tell, no, come on, man, that crap has to stop. Where are we headed as Trinidad and Tobago? And people need to stop and just come together. Come together, and even though you have to walk, even though you have to continue to letting your voices be heard. Woo! Okay.
Oh. Hallelujah. That was a moment. That was a moment. So, Willon, you're going to build on this because they're not doing the cases. Hold on. They're not doing the cases fast enough. Policemen getting old. Policemen suffering from mental energy deficiency. They're losing the marbles. They're getting sick. Listen, they're retiring, and cases still ain't tried. Who have the evidence now?
Well,
before a judge to try that matter that before the judge 15 and 20 years ago, even the person that got raped dead, she might lose her memory. Who trying whom? Justice delayed is justice denied. Even the judge that started the case, she dead or he dead.
Everybody.
That was one of the reasons why the march and the walk from Crep to Port of Spain, and joining my partner who walked from Arima and met him. He met me in Crep, and we walked together to Port of Spain to the Parliament, is for reformation. Those of them who is in high authority, we need a constitution reformation. We need to deal with new constitution format to deal with this situation. For example, while we was at the Parliament, the women bring out their drums and their all kind of stuff to beat and whatever, and the police officers who don't know the constitution right, the law of the land, are telling these people, shut up, don't beat the drum, don't do the shack because you all have no right to that, or we're gonna lock you up. I see they locked up 2 persons in Port of Spain last Friday because one was standing up with the woman and saying, hey, you can't tell the woman and them that. And after they asked him, do you have a right to be here protesting? Let me see. So he pulled out his cell phone and he saw the letter from the commissioner of police. He said, they just have a WhatsApp picks up and they arrest him, man. And the police and them, they don't know the deal. And as Ambassador was saying, Most of them are retiring. They don't have psychological. One of the things that I came up with and I was dealing drafting a proposal is that before police officers to become police officers, we need to set a different educational system to deal with that. So then police officers, when they're training, they have a batch for dealing police officers for dealing with psychological stuff for the police officers and them, teach them military technique, historical event in case of what going on in their life, to deal with the family problem and the society problem. You can't go in and deal with the citizen of Trinidad and Tobago, and you have your own family problem at home, and then after you pull out a gun and you shoot your wife at home. That some of these cases happen like that. Police officers and the military and the defense force, because I know a friend of mine said that her husband threatened her and said, I am the law right now and I could shoot you. You shut up. How you that officer dealing with the cases like that? And we need to have a reformation. So the person and I, my friend, when we march, and we were marching for violence against women and reform the system. That whole system, that colonial system there, which is present right now, it do not represent Trinidad and Tobago. Deal with the pre, so you can have the pro.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we have Sister Avi here. So we are going to be getting into, there's a statement here by Mary Dates Mitchell. Avi, can you read that?
Yes. Violence begets violence. Beating a child is violence, not discipline. We need to teach them that problem-solving skills. Beating a child is violence against that child, not discipline. If that is all they know, that is what they will do. I absolutely agree.
Excellent.
Absolutely agree.
She's the one who wrote the question, but she wrote it short. We gave her the answer, and you are perfectly right, Mary Mitchell. And although, it still have a little thing in between it, because some children who get raped, they do go about raping, and some children who get raped, they are advocates strongly against raping. So there is a ning and nang here. So then we have another one here going by Avanell Hazel. Donette is your cousin. She lost her brother today. And my father is your great uncle.
To you and the family, Donette. My condolences to you guys.
So she's saying that the government gives
subvention,
yeah, Pam.
And charities who are abusers to those who they are supposed to protect. They aid and abetting instead of addressing the problem head on.
Yes. Like take, for instance, a girl from Betsy's Hope. I understand that she got raped years ago, but she's deaf and dumb, I think. And I don't think up to this day that case was tried. All because who did the rape affiliated with the police. They have family thing going on there. So she was left to feel, well, she was in the wrong place. She shouldn't be down there by herself and blaming the mother, she deaf, she dumb. But then they recognize that the deaf and dumb had a vagina and she was illicitly forced to have sex. That's the case. It have nothing to do where she was or who she is what was done to her. Avanell, you have something to say?
Yes. And kind of going back to what Nickocy says, and from the initial question, there needs to be accountability, and it needs to be a top down. And when I say top down, from the home all the way to the governmental system. We have a big problem with secrecy in our community, where we know things happen and we see things happen and we don't speak on it. It is our responsibility as our community to raise our children, in the way that they should grow. It is our responsibility. And being secretive for the sake of face for family or how someone's going to look at you and what
or because of the church.
it's absolutely ridiculous. Like so many things go on within these churches that are not spoken of to this same day. So many things go within the community or homes and people of respect, and it's not being spoken of to this same day, and that needs to stop. We need to develop a forensic database for issues when they happen. We need forensic teams that can literally work the right way. Forensic psychologists who can literally predict behavior before it even happens. That database in a way that, for instance, these people die. If that database is there, it's still there for our usage. Just imagine, Andrea could have still been alive for today if they had working cameras. Something simple as working cameras.
Throughout the city, yes.
The infrastructures available, that young lady would have been alive for today. It's no reason why we have a country and every other block don't have. They have money for
camera.
They have money for everything else. Don't get me started on the zip line, but they have money for everything else. But they can't pay for cameras.
Especially in Tobago, around them beaches.
Yes.
Around the beaches, like where the young girl, where they find this young girl in a dustbin few years ago. I think it's Buccoo or somewhere. And I don't know how people, or Plymouth or somewhere, and I don't know how people always want to make me look as if I want to bring up so much. I've been talking about this years now, where we have camera off. Listen, in New York, they have a place, something called the Blue Light District. Anywhere you see a blue light is where crime is popular, is where crime will happen. That blue light district will tell people exactly. If you go in a neighborhood and you see stores, that's in Baltimore, the blue light. Yes, I wanted to think where I saw it, the blue light district. And if you go in a neighborhood, you have to be smart. And you see all the stores close up by 4:30. You have to be smart knowing this area not a safe area. Because stores doesn't close like that. I don't mean now in the COVID. COVID, they have all kind of news, all kind of changes. But normally, Jahmela, you know that.
Yeah, it's true.
Speak on it, Jahmela.
Say that again, Mama Coco.
About the areas where you see a store, all stores closing up early.
Well, it's obviously because of the crime situation, and the store owner want to feel safe by closing before it's dark. And when you're in a crime area, sometimes nothing helps, because if a perpetrator wants to get you, they are going to get you. It's not gonna change anything. I wanted to add, in Trinidad and Tobago, most murder cases, after a while, it goes on the list of being a cold case because it goes unsolved. They never hardly solve murder cases in Trinidad and Tobago. And that is sad, because when a person's life is taken away from them, the perpetrator's supposed to pay by law. Law enforcement supposed to do their job. The judicial system supposed to follow through and prosecute and sentence a murderer to jail.
Right.
However, that's not happening. The murderer gets away to kill again, and then the family members harbor them, hide them under the bed, all in the closet. I don't understand how the police don't find these people. Trinidad is not that big.
That's right.
They know the killers. They know the rapists. About 10 years ago, a rapist raped a 89-year-old granny in Trinidad.
Yes.
They never found him. He raped her and disappeared in the night. That is crazy. You had the businesswoman, if I remember her name correctly, was it Benda or Bidel in Shogunas, that owned lots of businesses. She fed the homeless. She fed the homeless. She gave them charities, money, you name it. She was not a person that withheld and didn't share. Do you know the same people in Chaguanas kidnapped that businesswoman who gave to the community and they murdered her?
Cares about that.